January to 31st December 2026. The effective implementation of these plans will be crucial in achieving macroeconomic objectives and promoting sustainable development. Welcome to the 2026 budget analysis, and today, like I mentioned earlier on, we'll look at economic affairs. And my name is Paulson Tindovi. My sign language interpreter this morning is Jason Manda. Like always, we also create a platform for you, our viewers and our listeners out there, and those of you that are following us on our socials, the YouTube pages, and the National Assembly of Zambia page. You like the page, and let's know where you're watching us from, and make sure that you ask a question concerning what we're discussing today. The SMS facility that we're using this morning is 0978 772801. I do have a very interesting panel this morning. I do have Mr. Davison Mungandu, who is a Member of Parliament for Chama South constituency. Mr. Mungandu, thank you so much for waking up early and be with us this morning.
I'm grateful, Mr. Ndovi. Good morning to our viewers out there. Always pleasure to be on our TV station, Parliament TV, interacting with our electorates and also informing the nation, particularly on this economic affairs part of our 2026 national budget.
How was your first interaction with various stakeholders? We know that the sector budget analysis commenced yesterday, scrutinizing the revenue and estimates that was announced by the Minister of Finance on Friday.
Maybe let me take this opportunity to thank the Parliament and particularly the modernization and reforms that it has undertaken. I'm sure you viewers out there were used to seeing Parliament. Immediately the budget is passed, then MPs start discussing the budget. That has been enhanced now. When the budget is presented the way the Minister of Finance had presented the budget, Parliament through various oversight committees dissolve into sector sittings, which simply means each committee is sitting, analyzing the budget based on what the people want. So that is what we are doing now. This is a very good reform, and we are here to see, Zambians are here to see the benefits. So far, yesterday, like the committee where I belong, which is on national economy, trade and labor matters, we had the Minister of Mines and the PS. I know more witnesses will be appearing for the next 10 days. So we are looking forward to, I think, to the best, and this is the way to go for our nation.
We'll get into details as to share with us what really came out during your deliberation with the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development. And I'm also excited because this is a man that has been all over different platforms talking about national issues. And I'm talking about Mr. Zali Chikuba, who is Executive Director from the Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA in short. Mr. Chikuba, thank you so much. I know just after the minister presented the budget, we had a very short discourse, and where we looked at issues that were pronounced. And I remember assuring you that we'll definitely call on your door and create a longer platform for you, so at least we can discuss these national matters. How is ZIPA doing?
Good morning, Paul, and good morning, viewers. ZIPA is doing well. Under the circumstances, the staff are just recovering from a retreat where we were analyzing the budget and also to prepare to respond to the various committees that have already placed a lot of demands on our desks. My staff are not sleeping. Otherwise, we are thriving. It's our responsibility to respond to national matters like this and inform public debate using evidence.
So after you've known the guests that we're interacting with, the best thing that you can do is go to your phone and go to your messages and make sure that you send in your question or concerning regarding what we're discussing today. Remember, we are looking at economic affairs. Let me turn to Mr. Chikuba. What are your thoughts on the recent presented 2026 national budget, which is about 253.1 billion kwacha?
Well, Paulson, you will note that the budget has increased nominally, yes, by 16%. But in real terms, it has increased by 0.8%, and that's a cautious increase, knowing also behind the scenes that the economy is growing. So the GDP of this economy has also increased. So that cautious increase of 0.8% is quite telling that well, we are coming from a place where we have grown our economic base, and we need to be able to increase our budget so that we can respond to more pressing needs that the economy is facing, using the money that is generated within the economy. Otherwise, we feel that it's a fair budget given the circumstances. As you are aware, we do have a lot of non-discretionary expenditures that are coming in, having completed the debt restructuring and now resumed debt servicing. The amount that we are paying to service the debt has increased. Also, we have to meet the salary obligations of the civil service and operations. So we have quite a huge chunk of the non-discretionary expenditures that is squeezing the discretionary expenditures. You would have loved to see a larger portion of the money going towards economic affairs to stimulate growth and meet the needs of the people. But of course, like I said, there's a squeeze, financing squeeze. We have a limited budget, our GDP is not yet that big, so we can only extract so much from that limited GDP to be able to support public spending.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Chama South Member of Parliament, Mr. Mungandu, your thoughts about the 253.1 billion kwacha budget. How has the people of Chama South received this?
On behalf of the people of Chama South, we are very excited and grateful to President Hakainde Hichilema. Since we are looking at economic affairs, if you look at the allocation, I'll start with CDF. CDF has increased from 36.1 to 40 million kwacha. How does that translate to the well-being of our people? That simply means the roads that we are doing, Chasato Chikwa, I'll tell you this is about 60 kilometers stretch. We are at kilometer 54, probably we are remaining with 3-4 kilometers to finish. Because of this increment, we are confident. I want to assure the people of Chama South that a bridge at Lunzi, this increment will be question to say how possible is that. I want to take them to Chifunda, Chifunda Mnyokwa Road, which is another 60 kilometers. We've done a bridge on a river similar to Lunzi River. It's the same team that we have that we are taking there next year to do a bridge. This is a real transformation of rural communities. We are building clinics. Mutembwa clinic will be done in the next few weeks, 2 weeks probably. If anything, this event was supposed to take place this coming Monday to open a mini hospital at Tembwe. Because of CDF, water has already been taken at that mini hospital. Unfortunately, it will not take place on Monday. I'm sure, President, you are aware His Excellency is in London. There are a number of us that also will be traveling for national duty via London. I think starting Friday. Friday, Saturday, it will be probably Sunday will be in London. But when we come back, we'll be in Chama South to commission that mini hospital.
Okay.
Another thing that will be done there is a water scheme, which we were asked, and I've taken it to Tembwe, Chiefdom. As an MP, I'm sure you know MPs were asked to choose a point where they can take the water scheme, and we've settled for Tembwe because of the population that is there. So this increment in CDF simply translates to more works that directly have impact on the well-being of our people, particularly those of us who are coming from rural areas.
The big challenge that people raise when it comes to CDF is the burning rate. How are you faring as Chama South? And also, is the cash flow flowing accordingly? Because other members of parliament are complaining that they're still in for the first quarter. The other, you haven't been paid, you still have arrears.
I'll tell you.
So why the increase?
We have an expert here, Mr. Chikua from Research Center. He will tell you that when it comes to budget credibility, this government, New Dawn government, President Hakainde Hichilema, probably because he's a calculator man, and his team, Dr. Msokotwane, he can attest to that. What they budget is what they release at the end of the year. It has never been like that. In some instances where there is a delay, nevertheless money comes. I'll tell you for Chama South, we are at 100% burning rate. As we speak now, we are worried that should money delay a bit, works will stall. Where MPs are complaining, to some extent, it's themselves to blame.
All right,
let me drive this point home, because I might be attacked by my fellow members
quickly,
of parliament.
So at least we can move on to
why I'm saying it's themselves to blame. They should not expect councils to perform if themselves are not on council's toys. For example, through CDF, we nominate more than 8 people through CDF committees. In short, as MPs, we have direct control over or indirect control over CDF. So it is up to you and I as elected officials to ensure that councils are performing. I don't sleep. More often I'm in touch with the council secretary, I'm in touch with the council procurement department to ensure that things that are needed by the technical staff that are working on the ground are provided on time.
Okay.
Money is also used appropriately, efficiently, and transparent.
Okay. Mr.
So money is there. Those that are not requesting, how will they, if money is sitting, they are not using it, how will they request for more money? You already have money in your account. So it is burning rate is based on how you are utilizing the money. So if councils are not utilizing the money, they will not receive more money. So it's not the government to blame, but the councils themselves.
You've done a research to do with the burning rate. There have been quite a number of concerns from various stakeholders, and also the issue to do with how the monies are released. Not too long ago, I had an interaction with quite a number of members of parliament, and the biggest issue was the money is delaying to be released. Where are we, based on your research? Because your institution is very critical.
Yeah. If you look at the CDF dashboard, you will see quite an interesting picture, and I think I want to encourage people to pay attention to that dashboard. And what you see when you look at the dashboard is that you have varied rates of implementation of CDF projects. If you look at the provinces, some provinces have got higher burn rate and other provinces have got very low burning rates. Clearly there is something in the environment that is causing this, and I think it is very important that we conduct further research to understand exactly why some constituencies are not burning while others are burning 100%. Some are burning 40%, others are burning 100%. So to some extent, I think if I could just conjecture, I would say that probably it's an issue of soft skills. Perhaps there is a little bit of need to invest in the soft skills of the people that are accountable for the implementation of CDF projects. We have seen an average of 76%.
Okay.
And in that 76, others are 100, and others are in the region of 16%. Now, the CDF Act of 2024 has introduced a reform where the disbursement of the monies is contingent upon you submitting a demand notice, after having completed what you had, and then you submit a demand notice for the next tranche of disbursement. So if that demand notice is not there, then you will not see a disbursement. So perhaps there is need to explain more on these things.
Okay.
But more importantly, so that there is no inequality created because of some implementing and others not implementing, I think there's need for further reforms. It's a very good policy that, according to how the honourable member Mr. Mungandu has explained.
Okay.
You know, it creates direct impact to the welfare of the people on the ground, and I think the government has actually demonstrated in the budget that it is very confident in the delivery of this program. But however, because of those challenges that you see in certain pockets, because what you would like to see is that all constituencies must be implementing this to deal with the issues that their people face equally. So if they're not implementing, we need to understand what exactly is causing the lags in the implementation, the lags in the demand. So those soft skills issues, probably we need to find out what they are exactly so that we can deal with them. Also, it is very important to invest a little bit within the CDF money in monitoring, evaluation and learning. Because if we don't have a dedicated fund for monitoring, then it becomes difficult for us to, in real time, understand what the problem is and learn, so that the success stories of Chama South can be probably replicated to Zambia district or Kalabo or anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Today we are looking at a very interesting topic, which is economic affairs. And my two guests that I have in the studio with me is Mr. Davison Mungandu, Member of Parliament for Chama South constituency, and I also have Mr. Zali Chikuba, Executive Director from the Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA in short. And shortly I'll be reading your text messages. The number that we are using is 0978 7728. And remember, the program is live both on television and radio, and also we are on our two socials, the YouTube page as the National Assembly of Zambia, and the Facebook page. And let me get to the minister's speech during the presentation of the 2026 national budget. He said, I've proposed to spend 48.7 billion, which is about 22.4% of the budget on economic affairs function to stimulate economic activities and improve livelihoods. Of this amount, 12 billion is for construction, upgrade and rehabilitation of roads. I know Mr. Mungandu briefly talked about the road that his constituency is doing, and the water that is being done there. Further, the minister said, have allocated 15.4 billion to support interventions in the agriculture, fisheries and livestock subsector. Of this amount, 9.3 billion is for farmer input support program to benefit over 1 million farmers to ensure food security. And he further proposes to increase the allocation for strategic food reserve to 2.4 billion from 1.7 billion in 2024. Maybe a quick reaction to these increments that we've witnessed.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'd love to see the increment on it, but we're also happy that economic affairs this coming year has received 4% in terms of increment, second to general services. So you realize that now there is a shift in focus to, while we are dealing with the issues of debt and addressing public service provision on this side, we are also realizing that it's very critical to support critical investments in sectors like agriculture. And what made us happier about this is that the weather forecast for 2025-2026 is positive. And while we still have that positive forecast, we need to put in a little bit more money, because we don't know what happens the year after. Okay. So when you still have that opportunity, put in more money so that you can secure your food supplies. And also there is another concern that we need to address, and I think it's being addressed within the allocations that are being given towards manufacturing, or the incentives that are given towards manufacturing, and the other policy pronouncements, that when we have produced whatever we produce in agriculture, we need to create opportunities for it to be processed, so that if we are going to export, we are going to export processed value-added products out there. So the creation of multi-facility economic zones is an opportunity for us to begin to absorb what is generated in the agricultural sector. So the 15, the amount that has been allocated towards agriculture is right. However, we feel that we need to be thinking of transitioning from FISP to a more sustainable and impactful programming in agriculture. We already have the staff, and then we need to be scaling that dimension of programming.
All right, before I bring in Honorable Mungando, let's just read some few text messages that we've received, with your permission, Honorable. Let's quickly see who has sent what on our screens. Remember, those of you that are listening on radio will also be able to read out your text messages. 0978 772 Let's see some of the text messages that we've received this far. This one, there's no name, is saying, why is it that we are letting foreigners to run our mines? The interest of our GDP should not rely on tax. And again, why are you not taxing some companies? The economy should not rely on foreign investment, but by the government. Thank you so much. Make sure that your SMSs are brief and straight to the point, so at least we can accommodate as many text messages as possible. Government should stabilize Zambia's economy. It's our duty to develop Zambia. We only have this country to grow our business, but the situation on the ground is that foreigners are becoming wealthy and our land and live on our land and living it underdeveloped. Thank you so much. No name there as well. I would encourage you to put your name, like what Masie Emmanuel has done. It's good to hear and see that our economy is growing, but we want to see tangible and implementation of these results. We still have pothole roads in towns. Thank you so much, Masie. Those three text messages, maybe Romungando would want to quickly maybe comment on those text messages and the question that I asked earlier on, where the Minister of Finance, or should I say the government of the Republic of Zambia, is projecting that over 1 million farmers will benefit from the 9.3 billion that they've projected in the agriculture sector.
Indeed, let me begin maybe by responding to the questions, messages that came in. Indeed, Zambia will be developed by Zambians, not foreigners. Most of these foreigners who come here for business. They want to make their profits and externalize profits. One of the salient features of good business environment is one that exists in Zambia, where there are no barriers. People are able to come in, trade. They should be able to, when they make profit, they should be able to send their profit to their countries of origin. This is international practice. Zambia will only develop if we get enough taxes.
But are we creating a conducive environment for the locals? Because the competition is quite tough, and you are a lawmaker, but are we creating legislation that will support a local person?
Yes, let's wait and see. I can assure you that the local content bill is underway. I always advise people when I'm interacting with my electorate that I don't just move anyhow. When you see me moving, I've seen that there's something good coming. So for those that are yearning to be involved in the economic activities of this country, yes, programs are being put in place, but we need first to lay the foundation. I'll tell you that our education system, most of us Zambians, we are trained to work. This is a fact. When I was in grade 8 or maybe grade 7, one would want to be an accountant. Very few people are trained to be entrepreneurs. but education system has also changed. I'm sure you've seen Honorable Douglas Siakalima announcing a new education curriculum. You know, Zambians, a number of us think opportunities will find us where we are.
Okay.
His Excellency the President, when we were in Mchinga 2 weeks ago, he called for the people of Mchinga to take part in the production in their respective provinces. So indeed, when we talk about the mines, how many cooperatives? You start small.
Okay.
There is no way a person today will give you to run Kansanshi, which needs billions and billions of dollars and technical skills. It's not possible. We start small. We are told to form cooperatives. I know Ministry of Mines has issued more than 2,000 licenses to small and medium enterprises or mining companies.
Okay.
You start from there, then with discipline. Not where you make small profit, next you are in a Range Rover. You know, all these things are happening because of our training. I'm sure the expert can agree with me. So let Zambians be rest assured.
Okay.
Local content
Earlier on,
is being drafted by
I
the
asked Mr. Chikuba of 15.4 billion that the ministers allocated to support interventions in agriculture, fisheries and livestock. And of that amount, 9.3 billion is for farmer input support program to benefit over 1 million farmers to ensure food security. And again, the minister proposes to increase the allocation for strategic food reserve to 2.4 billion from 1.7 billion in 2024. You're coming from a rural constituency, and majority of the people that gave you this 5-year mandate to be a member of parliament for Chama South are farmers. Your quick comment before we move to other sectors.
Let me begin by informing the people of Chama South. You know, when I was on the ground a few weeks ago, a number of them complained to me that, Honorable, there is a requirement that we sell 10 bags for us to access FISIP. You know, Chama, actually almost entire Chama, very few isolated areas managed to produce, because there was a drought. The drought that this country experienced the other year is the drought that had hit Chama last year. So no one produced, not even a 10 kg or 20 kg.
Yeah, I remember you on the floor of the House posing a question, yes.
Your government, you know, one thing that I like about President Hakainde Hichilema, people call me Hichilema's praise singer. But these are facts, colleagues.
Are you one?
I simply am among those that really appreciate President Hakainde Hichilema. I'll tell you, because no sooner had I requested that the people of Chama did not produce anything and they have nothing to take to FRA, then the minister responded. This is a president that listens. As we speak, I want to inform the people of Chama, Kutira requirement where you were required to take 10 bags of maize for you to qualify to get fertilizer. President Hakainde Hichilema afunyapo. He has removed. He has hid. Wapilika kuti bantu balije chakulya kuti bapeleke ku FRA. So whether you take 10 bags,
you don't translate that for the sake of other people that may not understand.
This is what I'm doing now. This is now what I'm doing now.
Just quickly, because
whether you take 10 bags to FRA or you don't take those 10 bags, you still be given FISIP. This is what is in the budget. It's also national security. It also has a direct effect on the economy. You saw how we struggled when there was a drought. Other sectors of the economy suffered because our people needed to be served. Our lives had to be served. So by allocating that amount of money, more than 1 million farmers, let them be rest assured, because now we've gone 100% e-voucher. Some of them have already started redeeming.
Okay.
As we speak, they have started redeeming. In October, I have a program again to move word by word, to check, to interact with our farmers, whether they are redeeming or not? Because there's a lot of cheating that is going on.
Let's move on to
by cooperative leaders.
To Zipper and Mr. Chikoba. There was a text message, and that text message was concern. His or her concern was issue to do with foreigners being given these leeways and incentives and at the expense of local people. But before you respond, let's get to the minister's speech, where he said government has increased the allocation to the Zambia Credit Guarantee Scheme to 851.7 million in 2025 from 386 million in 2024. This increase will enable more of our small and medium enterprises to access affordable financing. The allocation will also support implementation of the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility program. People wishing to benefit under this scheme, whether farmers or otherwise, can approach any of the participating banks for a loan. The bank will undertake the usual assessment, and if satisfied, it will provide a loan which will be partially guaranteed by government. Is this one way of cushioning the concern that we read from the text messages? Would this be attainable?
Yeah, let me begin by saying that a good investment environment is one that respects the right to ownership of property. And I think Zambia is reforming its investment environment to reflect that principle, that we are having a fair playing field in this economy, and we are protecting the rights to ownership of property. So if there is a foreigner who owns property in Zambia, that foreigner needn't worry, because this environment is going to protect your investment. Now, we must understand one thing, that there is freedom of participation that is also being guaranteed for people, citizens of this country, to participate in the economy. And where there are gaps, for instance, in terms of capital access, this is where now you find a lot of these funds, stimulation funds that are being provided. The Bank of Zambia just provided a fund recently, and also you have a credit guarantee scheme that is being provided that de-risks your borrowing and lowers the cost of borrowing effectively. This is only available to the Zambians. So if you go and participate in the market together with a foreigner, you have an advantage. You have these funds that are being availed, and you have the credit guarantee scheme that de-risks your borrowing and lowers the cost of your borrowing. We know that yes, the cost of borrowing within this economy is still higher, but I think let's agree and that, look, you cannot develop your country alone. You need to also diffuse culture within your economy. You need to be able to learn from others. I think when you look at the economies that have developed, most of the developed economies are economies that have given the freedom of choice, that have protected the rights of ownership to property to people that want to invest in their economies. The only exception that you see that has developed without following that route, that has used a lot of protectionism, is China. And they're doing very fine within their model. But you see, many other places where they have tried to replicate that protectionism kind of approach, you go to Southern America, compare it with the USA, you see a striking difference. But it's the same Europeans that went to colonize that place and develop and built there, but they're built differently. You look at North and South Korea, same culture, but look at the outcomes of development. One is protectionist, the other one is open economy. So striking differences. So indeed, we need to be open, but you see, we have not exhausted the mines in Zambia. There are still a lot of fields to explore. Where are the Zambians to come and explore? If it is easy to finance, let the Zambians come in and finance. But I think what has been hindering people from entering that in big time, like the foreigners have, is the financing. They have lower cost of capital from where they're coming from. But we need that investment in the economy. So should we bar them because the Zambian needs to come and participate and do small things? No. If we have to develop this economy, we must be willing to open up for others, and also begin to see these opportunities and exploit them, using the available. Let me also mention that the Minerals Regulation Commission Act, which was enacted in 2024, protects the small scale and artisanal mining activities for the locals. So Zambians need to be aware of this. That sector is left for you. Begin to operate in there. Begin to acquire the experience, and you will be able to grow. We have Sixtus Mlenga who has entered this sector, and we need more of such entrepreneurs in the mining sector in Zambia.
Okay, let's, before Honorable comes in, we have some text messages. Let me just allow me to read. Good topic. Moderator, it's good to hear and see that our economy is growing. Thank you so much. Let's see other text messages that we have. Kindly invite Masaiti constituents MP to the program, G. Chaya. I'm sure the Masaiti lawmaker is listening and watching. The other one is in Kitwe, Chimwemwe market and road surroundings. The market are very bad year in, year out. Please intervene, Mr. Zali, so that roads are worked on before the rainy season. You've been given another responsibility, Mr. Zali, to look into those. A quick to add, but let's be brief because we are running out of time. We should be having a live committee from the studio.
Thank you. Mr. Ndove, I just wanted to explain what the New Dawn government is doing in the mining sector. For the very first time in the history of this country, we are the countries undergoing what we call aerial mapping. If you look at the budget, there's an increment on those services from 380 something to about 556 billion kwacha.
Yes.
That is to ensure that all the minerals, including water, that is sitting in our country should be mapped. You can imagine we have a situation where citizens themselves are the ones who are discovering gold. But the New Dawn government wants to bring that to a stop. They are doing aerial mapping. So far, I think more than 38% or close to 40% of Northwestern Province, Western Province, for the very first time. Because to map Western Province, you know, it's a sandy area. Using conventional mapping, it might be practically impossible. But with aerial survey, we don't know what is sitting there. Tomorrow you just hear that we have oil in Western Province, or we really have we might hear that we've got diamonds in Northwestern Province. So that's one thing that is being done. Not only that, Zambians have to prepare, because the President Hakainde Hichilema and his team, they are methodical in the approach, in the way of doing things. Among the things that the commission that Mr. Zali has just mentioned, which will be operationalized, Minerals Regulation Commission will be operationalized before the end of this year. They are going to set up what we will call buying centers. When you mine your gold, you immediately legalize it. take it to the buying center where you get a good price.
Okay.
All the precious minerals. So the president is calling for 3 methods of mining. It must be legal. It must be also safe. We can't have a country where mining is being done illegally. Okay. This is what brought about warlords, where in some countries where the Eastern Congo, you hear about Eastern Congo. The president doesn't want that to be replicated. Okay. So youths, can we seize that opportunity? Okay,
there's also another thing, another aspect I want to bring in to do with under economic affairs, the construction of airports. I know you come from Chama, you've talked about the road being bad, but before both of you comment on that one, Mr. Chikoba, the Honorable Mungando has brought in a very critical issue to do with geological and geophysical mapping. Last year's budget, or the budget we are in, was about 160 million. That's in 2024. And the minister's announcement said that they've increased to 364 million. Your quick comment, maybe just under a minute.
Excellent. In our previous budget analysis, we actually decried the low allocation that was being provided for geophysical survey. Now that they have increased, we are happier. We want this to be done quicker, because we think that the transformation of this economy depends on our ability to diversify, and the basis on which we're going to diversify is first by exploiting the mineral resources and begin to invest in other areas. So the speed at which we do this will determine the speed at which we can diversify our economy. Okay. For the comment that was on the board there about the roads, I think the good news is that the minister has allocated so much money towards road construction in 2026. Of course, maybe this year you may not see as much, but you see, development is not an event. It's a process. So if you don't have it this year, I think people should begin to look out for which roads should be prioritized for construction in the next year's budget. And of course, there's another method that we could use as a nation, which we are happy that the government has adopted, the PPP method. Although we feel that this framework needs to be still reviewed, refined, so that we can lessen the time it takes to reach the closure of those contracts, PPP contracts.
Okay, as we wind up today's presentation of the 2026 budget analysis, I did talk about the airports that government proposes to construct in 2026, and the minister did announce that it proposes to spend 700.7 million on construction, upgrading and rehabilitation of provincial airports. This will improve airport infrastructure and boost the tourism sector. He further said that he has allocated 1.3 billion for the development of the tourism infrastructure, wildlife conservation and tourism marketing. You're coming from Chama. We see you on the floor of the House talking about the abundant natural resources that you have in your constituency. Just under a minute, your take on this.
Indeed, though Chama, I'll tell you, we have a airstrip there, which the previous government started working on it. It was supposed to be upgraded into bituminous standard. Unfortunately, because of lack of funding, the contractor had to dismantle the asphalt plant. That's how everything was left. Mm-hmm. Looking at next year's proposals, I'm sure there is Ichpata Lundazi completion. It is our wish that Chama Lundazi should also be considered. We also know that we are remaining with 61 kilometers Chama Matumbo stretch. We are discussing with the Minister of Finance as well as the Honorable Charles Milupi, because he's telling us that that will be considered under PP, what is just mentioned, public-private partnership. But we feel that would not be the best way out. Looking at that area is just being opened up. PPs only work where the volume of traffic is guaranteed. Okay. If I'm to tell you that probably Lusaka Copper Belt to Sakandola,
cut you short on that to time, because we do have a live committee that coming in. Maybe let's get a quick reaction to Mr. Chazo, what I talked about, the 700.1 million that the government has allocated.
You know,
the construction of aeroplanes.
Aerodrops. Yeah, so I think this is a move in the right direction. We have been talking about this for a long time as a nation. One of the critical challenges or binding constraints to growing this economy is the cost of transport and logistics. So if I'm going to take a whole day to move from here to my farm in Mansa by road, I'm losing time. And if I'm to move my produce from there to Lusaka, and I'm losing more time, and if it's perishable, it will perish before it reaches the market where it can be consumed. So provision of this funding, especially to the critical growth poles of this country, is very, very important. Perhaps what we should do is to really do a critical prioritization, so that we do not take all these projects all together at once. We select a few that we can implement and complete, and then we move to the next ones the following year, just like that, rather than taking too many at the same time and then leaving them halfway, like we have done in so many areas that we have tackled previously.
And Honorable Mungando, you have a tight week. You are interacting with various stakeholders in the sector budget analysis. Who are the witnesses that are appearing before the Cabinet Affairs Committee, where you belong?
There are quite many. We first had the preparation with our Parliamentary Budget Office. Then we have Minister of Mines. We also have Minister of Finance.
Okay.
We have researchers, IAPRI. We have ZIPA. All the stakeholders that are to do Economic Association of Zambia, Bankers Association of Zambia, Economic Advisory Council.
Okay.
Issues that have to do with the management in our country will all be our witnesses.
Another people of maybe 30 seconds. Honorable,
yes,
because
for the people of Chama South, I've always said Aka in the Hichilema, because of that 40 and other things that are coming. With 40 million next year, expect bridges. I'll tell you that we are doing already bridges from Chifunda to Munyukwa. Money for this year, everything procured. Manpower procured.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Be ready. Your area will be transforming.
Mr. Chikoba, I must say thank you so much for finding time. And what is ZIPA up to? 20 seconds.
Thank you very much.
I know it's a critical period. You did talk about it in your preamble.
Yes, we have just completed the production of the budget analysis report, and we'll be disseminating it on Thursday at the Pamosi Hotel. And Honorable Mungando, you are invited. Bossen and your team, you are invited. We invite all the interested parties to come and be with us at the budget analysis.
Thank you so much. We'd like to be there and just witness and also just go through the analysis at institution. Thank you so much for waking up early. I know it's not easy, but you did find time to be with us this morning, and I must say thank you so much. Honorable Mungando as well, I know you have a very busy day, knocking off late and reporting early, but you had to find time and represent the people of Chama South. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for our viewers and our listeners, wherever you are. I'd like to say thank you for being with us this morning, and those of you that have been following us on our socials, the National Assembly of Zambia YouTube page and the Facebook page. On behalf of the entire production crew, we'll be back tomorrow as we look at another critical sector regarding the 2026 national budget. We know that the Minister of Finance was here last week on Friday, and members of Parliament are very busy at this particular time analyzing the 2026 national budget, which was announced by the Minister of Finance, which is about 253.1 billion kwacha. My name is Paul Sentindobe. Thank you so much for your time. Let's do this tomorrow morning. God bless, and continue listening and watching Parliament.